Hi, everyone. It's Sean Slevin here from Swim Strong Foundation. I just want to take a moment to share how privileged and honored I was to be invited to attend the UN's water conference earlier this week. To put it in context, there hadn't been one like that in 50 years. There were over 7,000 participants, which, as I understood, it was the largest one of its kind. And the meetings ran from 8 in the morning through 8 in the evening, every hour and a half or so, with 8 options per time slot for a session. So it was packed full of wonderful organizations and people doing tremendous work, all in aid of protecting, conserving, and stewarding our most critical resource, which is water. So just to give you one or two quick takeaways, I was truly shocked to discover just how many millions of women and girls still today have to walk miles to get water to bring to their homes. And the primary way of transporting that water is on their heads. So can you imagine carrying 45 pounds of water on your head, what that does to you physically? But perhaps more importantly, if those girls are carrying water, they're not in school. And so therefore, think of the brain drain that's happening because we can't bring water into villages quickly enough. Also, that lack of water means a lack of sanitation. And of course, that brings illness, disease, think of cholera. And again, women and girls are being impacted more so due to menstrual health issues as well as obstetric issues. So we have a long way still to go in that regard. And I'm proud to be a Rotarian and know that the Rotary is involved with many, many WASH programs. And I'm hoping to connect to one or two of those myself as time unfolds. Switching topics, think of island nations. Of course, they're surrounded by water, but it's seawater, it's ocean water. And so drinking water generally comes from the ground. Over the past decades, there wasn't a whole concept around waste management necessarily. People tended to dump their trash into waters, rivers, oceans, lakes, etc. Now that turns out to be, of course, not a good thing. In addition, with the climate change happening, the storm activity is increasing and strengthening. And so there's massive flooding hitting the islands, and many times that ocean water is polluting the groundwater. And so scarcity of drinking water for island nations is becoming a much more prevalent situation. Plastics, again, remain a huge issue in our oceans in particular, because as we know, the mammals and even some of the fish are eating the plastics, thinking it's food, and it's killing them. So what we also have discovered is that we thought plastic actually never disintegrated. Well, that's not true. Eventually, it does disintegrate into these very tiny particulars that are sinking and hitting our reefs, and in fact, killing our reefs. And if our reefs are killed, our oceans are killed, and then that's the end of us as well. So please make that change to really limit your use of plastics and make sure that when you do use them, they are disposed of properly. So those are the things, the big takeaways that I had, and also the fact that the blue economy is really stepping forward to create new innovative ways of dealing with some of these issues: water reclamation, desalinization, second use of water, gray water, where water is being able to be treated and used again in agriculture, which is fabulous. And I'm sure that other innovative ideas will be coming forward in that space too, which of course will create new jobs, which would be fabulous. I had the opportunity as well to raise our educational programming to a number of different panels. Just addressing the fact that hearing all of these innovative solutions to these huge global problems, I'm really not hearing about education for individuals to help them navigate water in a much more watery world. And we haven't even scratched the surface yet. Climate change will bring more and more and more water. So it's imperative that all of us, swim skilled or not, learn to understand water in a very different way in our daily lives so that we can safely navigate through every circumstance that we will be facing. So just to conclude, I will say it was a privilege to be able to sit in on some of these tremendous meetings where heads of states, prime ministers, and heads of multinational organizations and NGOs who are coming together to make agreements and sign treaties, make commitments to do everything they can to bring carbon footprint down, and of course to protect and steward our waters. And that's all fabulous. But if we as individual citizens are not doing our part, it just won't be enough. And there are a number of things that we can do, simple things that really will help us preserve water for the future generations. Just think about brushing your teeth. Instead of washing all of that water down the drain at that last clean out, put it in a separate cup and use it to water your plants. Don't run the taps unless you really need to use the water. Don't flush the toilet unless you need to do so. Again, limit the plastics and think of innovative ways to reuse water. Can we reuse some of that dishwater that we have our final rinsing, again, for our plants? I think there's many ways, if we're more mindful, that we can make changes to our behavior, which will steward water for our children and for future generations. Thank you so much, and look forward to being on this journey with you.